Hey everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino. How are you today? It is Wednesday, May 25th, 2016. Alright people, let's talk. Lots of stuff going on here, and I'm getting a lot of questions with regard to gold and silver. Just this morning, I don't even know how many emails I got. So let's cover some of that. But before I even get there, let's talk about the environment we are existing in at this present time. It's kind of incredible, really. As I am doing this video blog, the stock market is up once again. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is up over 160 points today after a 200-point rally yesterday, for which I said I expected this market to continue to rise, and I still believe that is going to happen now. Understand what's going on. I know you get it if you follow this blog. This is being engineered deliberately, and there's a lot of things going on, a lot of things in play right now that are fostering, once again, a risk-on environment. We had the absolute manipulation of the crude oil market earlier in the year when it was crude oil was down to around 20-something dollars a barrel. We had the mainstream introduce the prospect that there was going to be, or possibly going to be, a cut with regard to OPEC pumping oil that introduced speculation into the market, pushed crude oil higher. And then just when that started to top out, we had this Canadian wildfire just develop in an area which is rich with oil sand, also pushed crude oil higher. The day after that, we had the Saudi oil minister ousted, also pushed crude oil higher. And while this was occurring, it was pulling the stock market with it higher. All of this was engineered. That fire I've spoken about, it's common knowledge now, was arson, and beyond any doubt at all, this was done to, again, foster a bottom or a next move higher with regard to crude oil. If you don't believe that's true, or they're capable of doing that, you are deluded, and you have no idea of what the powers that be will do to have their way or make things unfold in a particular pattern. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. It's no secret, once again, and I've been covering this, that the Federal Reserve is kind of pushing the narrative that June is a live meeting. Although today we heard from another Fed president who's saying, wait, hold on a second, maybe not. So you look, you got this whole teeter-tottering, keeping the market off balance kind of thing going on. But look, again, if you follow this blog, you know exactly what's going on. You know their playbook. You know what they're going to do or not do. So the Federal Reserve is introducing the prospect that there could be a rate hike. The market is not buying this. I did a video about this yesterday, which I just released on YouTube today. I talked about it the day before. This is why we're getting a rally here. It has nothing to do with what the mainstream is trying to push. The mainstream narrative is this. The mainstream is saying stocks today and yesterday were rallying because the Federal Reserve is going to raise hikes in June and the financials are doing better. Absolutely not. No way. Okay? The truth of the matter is financials are doing better because crude oil is now higher. I've gone over the direct correlation here and the leverage involved between the big banks, financial institutions, and crude oil. They will not allow it to fall. Has nothing to do with the prospective rate hike. As a matter of fact, the market doesn't believe there's going to be a rate hike in June, and that's why stocks are higher. But that's not the narrative you're going to hear from the mainstream. They have to keep you distracted. They have to keep you believing, hey, wait a minute, you know, the Federal Reserve really is in control. And you know, it's insane. And it's asinine, really, to sit there and listen to this. I sit there and I laugh. I crack up. Because they all exist in this an environment where they believe on the mainstream that all of this is real. They don't factor in how world central banks have deliberately and continue to artificially suppress interest rates, not allowing the free market to determine fair value for debt. So what does that do? Very simple. I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. Every single asset, and I've covered this, everyone that you can possibly think of, anyone, any asset, derives its value from what is occurring here in the bond market. Now, the bond market is starting to send us very ominous signs, despite the fact that the Federal Reserve has now induced a risk-on environment in the market and stocks are moving higher. We're starting to see the yield curve flatten. We're starting to see this, okay? Short-term bonds are starting to be bought. It's causing the yield curve to do this. When we get a flatter yield curve, that's a very bad sign for what might be lurking just beyond the horizon here. And I know you get it if you follow this blog. So this risk-on environment that has been created and manufactured here by the Federal Reserve colluding with the White House, this is what their secret meetings were all about, is going to turn into a risk-off environment, people. Look, there's a lot of people out here who do not understand the concept. And I'm not referring to any of you that follow this blog, but there are so many people out here that do not understand the concept that nothing goes up in a linear fashion forever or goes down in a linear fashion forever. There's going to be a moment here where the risk-on environment, that is the stock market moving higher because of the environment of risk, is going to become risk-off. When this becomes risk-off, assets that are down here, for example, gold and silver, are going to skyrocket as this reverses. Now, I'm not pulling this out of a hat. Do a little research on your own. We've seen this over and over and over again, but never to this degree. You understand? Never. So you can have all these naysayers out there talking about gold and silver and blah, 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 and the fact that it's pulling back now and they're doing little cartwheels around. They think that they've achieved some kind of a victory. These are morons. You understand? Morons who have no conception whatsoever about market dynamics and how this whole thing works. I don't care, again, what they try to do by manufacturing risk-on environments and creating dismay, if you want to call that, in the risk-off trade at this particular time. All we need to know, seriously, is at one point this is going to reverse, and it is going to be monumental. Monu-freaking-mental. Really. So, going back to what I'm beginning, all these emails about gold and silver under pressure. Yeah, I've talked about it. They're under pressure, so freaking what? You should embrace this. Again, nothing goes up in a linear fashion forever. Gold and silver have both made spectacular runs since the beginning of this year. Something I said would happen in an interview I did with Greg Hunter last December. I said this was the year for gold and silver, and boom, here we go. So this pullback that we're seeing here is extremely bullish, in my opinion. Again, it goes back to what I was just talking about. Risk on will become risk off. When risk on becomes risk off, gold and silver will skyrocket. These prices are ridiculous. What else do we know is going to continue to happen? World central banks, people, you could probably recite this if you follow this blog, have no alternative but to continue to inflate and inflate and inflate and inflate. Can never stop. This is the environment they've created. And it's a bubble in debt, people, which is the greatest threat you can possibly imagine, greater than a nuclear exchange. Look at Venezuela, okay? They have a resource problem right now, but resources are not available to them because, again, of the situation. This is going to be global. Venezuela will be global at one point. It's going to come right to your door. It really is. And there's no way out of this, people. None. I don't care what they're doing, what they try to do. The free market will win. Every single asset class at one point will correct to fair value. And this collapse that everyone is talking about isn't really a collapse at all. It's simply a correction to fair value. The distortions in this market, and I keep talking about this day after day, are so extreme and getting worse that when this all snaps back, it is going to be incredible. Absolutely incredible, and it's going to be rapid. Forget about anyone out there who's trying to say there's going to be a slow burn. It's not going to be a slow burn because of the margin debt that is involved in this market, how people and institutions have borrowed beyond their eyeballs to participate in this engineered bull market. When this rolls over, when the risk on becomes risk off, people are going to run for the door faster than you could blink your eyeballs. Again, because they can lose more than their initial investment by multiples. So they're going to run to the door. Bam! It's going to all come down. Watch that yield curve, people. I always say watch the bond market. This flattening yield curve is very important. There's a couple of people out here talking about this recently, and I think it's super important to watch as we move forward. So what can we expect in the shorter run? Again, I've been saying this lately, yesterday, the day before that in these videos. The market here has some more gains. Now, last year, May 27th, specifically of last year, that's 2 days from today, I said the bull market in stocks was over. In fact, the title of the video was this: according to Dow theory, stock market bull run is ending. Well, that top has held till this day, so it's almost in two days short of a year. Now, what does that mean in the grand scheme of things? Are we going to retake that top? There is the possibility that might happen. I don't think it's going to happen in the next 2 days, but we'll see. I call that top at Dow 18.3. We're about Dow 17.8 right now. It's possible. It's very possible. Again, it's the environment they're creating. It's risk on, once again, and we are going to capitalize on that. Speaking of that, if you've been following my trades on my website, tradeschoice.net, you are frankly making stupid amounts of money. I added a new one there today. Just go to my money page on my website, tradeschoice.net. You can see exactly what I'm holding. You can see my success rate, how many trades I've placed recently. It's all there. I hope you take advantage of that if you're getting involved in this market. But really, let's just go back once again to the premises that I have discussed since day one. And I hope you spread this around. I hope you spread this around. Really, become your own central bank and bet against this debt. I can't stress those 2 points enough. And I've probably said it over 10,000 times, more than that, since I've been out here for years. This is what we need to be doing longer term. Bet against the system, people. The system is failing. And how do we know it's failing? Because world central banks have gotten so desperate, they've turned the system upside down. Parts of the world going negative interest rates. Here in the United States, this massive debt suppression cycle that the Federal Reserve is instituting is not done yet. And it also plays into the fact that politics is involved. So they're going to do everything and everything possible and things that we can't even believe to keep this propped up. And that means they are willing to do anything. Again, the Canadian wildfire was a deliberate act. We all know that. Who started it? Well, you don't hear anything about that anymore because it was governments that did this. Okay? So you can forget about them catching anyone that started this fire over there. In fact, it's completely off the radar right now. Do you hear about it on the mainstream? Well, I don't. And they're never going to catch anyone because this was done by governments to put a bottom under crude oil, push it higher, force financials higher as well, which will pull the entire market with it. That's exactly what's going on. I hope you get it. Nothing is beyond their realm. They will do anything and everything, again, which includes war. Okay, that's the ultimate goal here, bringing us to war, a global war. If you don't see the pawns being put in place right now as a setup for this around the world, then you are surely blind. All right, with that said, people, I'm going to let you all go. I will see you all soon.